Hello and welcome to Startups in Real Life. We're in week 6, or are we in week 7? I'm not. I think I may have missed a week somewhere. Not
I'd
sure.
like to say week 6.
Yeah.
I'll take all the time we can get.
Exactly. Of a 10-week, 2 times a week discussion with Rae Hames to talk about all things startup. If anyone has any insights, advice, we'd love to hear it. Drop us a message and we will connect. So let's get to it. Good day, Rae. How was the long weekend? Oh, wait a minute.
Well,
You were on the other side of the holiday.
I waved to you from this side of the pond. I had a celebratory s'more.
That works.
Yes, so happy 4th, long weekend. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I am doing good. My mom is in town. So it's been a really nice week having her here.
That's great. Tell me you had the s'more at least on an open flame and not in the microwave.
Not a microwave.
Okay, good.
Broiler.
Okay, that'll work. That's at least,
which they call the grill here, which we have definitions of grills.
When I first met my wife, I almost started putting together a glossary of different terms because it was just so funny, to kind of have us both being like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yep.
But, yeah.
Expanding my vocabulary.
I know it's a good day when my coffee brews at the right pressure. It's kind of like reading the coffee grounds, like what is that in Turkish? I feel like if the brew comes perfectly, then it's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a good day. You feeling it?
Yeah, I am.
There we go.
All right.
The grounds are good.
I don't know. It's kind of funny, but it actually is true. So let's talk about a client need that I know you're really close to. So when is it right to bring your marketing creative talent in-house versus staying with an outside agency? And maybe you describe that for those people that aren't as familiar with that kind of those terms. Can you share what you've learned?
Yeah. So to answer your second question first, kind of high level terms. So within the advertising space, there's generally a couple ways that work gets done. One is by in-house teams, which means like an in-house marketing department led by a VP or director of marketing. And the other group that supports brands are ad agencies. Traditionally, those have been, creative shops, and they do a ton of different types of advertising work, from media buying to creative development to social media management. You name it, like ad agencies do it. But what we're seeing, broadly speaking, is a really large trend over the past few years of bringing creative work in-house. And it's driven by a bunch of different factors. Agencies have a markup, right? That's the business model, is that they're delivering a lot of flexibility to brands, right? You can kind of dial up and dial down project needs, and fractional support. So you can have a part-time copywriter on your team, or a part-time videographer, or a part-time media analyst. And agencies, especially specialized agencies, offer real focused expertise. So if you have an SEO agency that is super focused on SEO, you're probably going to get great work from those specialized agencies. So there's a lot of reasons why brands work with agencies, generally speaking. But as I was saying, there's been a large trend with in-housing is the term, based on the need to save money, based on cost savings, right? Like brands are increasingly under budget pressure, both to maintain the bottom line and also just because of the unstable economy. And also driven by the need to have a closer relationship to the talent that's behind the work, right? And so that fractional support is excellent when, that's a great lever to have on deck. But because we've seen so much of the agency workforce go freelance, brands have more and more options to bring that same fractional support closer to the brand side. So that's the in-housing trend that we're seeing over the past few years, totally fueled like everything by the pandemic, and the rise, of freelance creative work for sure. And to go back to your original question about like, when's the right time to bring work in-house? I think that for smart brands who are doing it right, I think it comes down to the long-term plan around your marketing function. if you're a CMO or a director of marketing and you're looking at your 2 to 5 year plan, and you can say, broadly speaking, we're going to be doing the same tactics with the same skill set requirements as a baseline of our marketing activity. We're going to continue to, build website content. We're going to continue to do social media marketing. We're going to continue to do paid advertisements on whichever platforms you're operating on. It's really worth investigating. Is it a good idea to build a team that's in-house that, again, you have a close relationship to and that you're saving overhead on to support those activities that you're going to continue to do? I think that you can always bring in short-term project support from agencies, from specialized freelance groups, and build kind of a flywheel of freelance teams, which is what Tamara helps you brands do, to support flexible project needs over time. But certainly, I think that's the right time to be looking at a very serious in-housing consideration. And the reality is that process takes time. If you have an existing agency relationship, it takes time to unwind. It takes time to transfer projects to an in-house team that you have to hire and onboard. And we've done this, in our past consulting lives. We've done this with pretty major brands, and the fastest timetable we've seen for kind of a small niche department within a department is about 12 months. And for large scale, full tilt e-com teams that are 35 plus people, that process takes about 2 years. And that's shaving off a lot of time, brands doing it themselves without kind of the consultancy support that our former company offered, because there's so much trial and error involved. And so, I think that that's just a consideration to say, what's our long-term plan as a marketing function within a brand, and to be able to make quality, thoughtful decisions from that answer.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I've heard you talk about too is, if a brand is significantly shifting its strategy, is it B2B? Is it now going direct to consumer? Is it going, some other direction? And the agency they've been working with is more specialized, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I think that that's definitely a marker of when it makes sense to think, if you're shifting your whole business model, you are going to inherently need to shift the people who are behind the scenes working that business model. And to find an agency, say you're making a B2B to B2C shift, and you've been working with a specialized B2B agency to run all of your marketing operations. Why bother finding a B2C agency to do the same thing? When you know that that's going to be the direction that your business is navigating towards, you might as well just build an in-house team to support that function and hire experts that are going to help you and be inherently tied to that work and tied to that transition. I think that that's important, is that an agency, certainly a specialized agency, can offer a lot of skill sets, but they can't offer that fundamental, I'm a brand trying to make a change, passion, like I said, behind the lens passion that happens from an in-house team.
Yeah, which kind of leads into the next question, which is, which you've touched on all of them, but maybe you could recap it a bit, is what are some of those key indicators that marketing directors and CMOs should consider? So you've kind of touched on most of them, but if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I think to kind of recap, I think high level, you got to look at the trajectory of your business, right? And if you know that you're going to need some consistent support for the next 2 to 5 years, it absolutely makes sense to invest in building a flexible in-house team to augment or to take over the agency support that you've been working with in the past, because of the cost savings, because of the relationship that you'll have with talent. On the flip side, if you're in a volatile industry or you don't know what lies ahead for your company or, kind of for the market at large, and you don't want to commit to the effort and cost and like emotional labor of hiring a department, because you don't know what's going to happen, like it probably does make sense to stick with a trusted agency or a smaller group of, freelance contract-based support that can give you that flexibility to change your business path, to change your staffing needs. I think that every hiring manager out there is pretty gun shy about hiring these days because of the layoff environment that we've been in, up and down and all around for the past couple of years. And I do think that most brand side hiring managers are being really thoughtful about how they hire for the long term. And what it comes down to, regardless of whether you're working with an agency or freelancers or in-house full-time employees, is transparency, right? Like, you got to give the people that you're bringing into the fold an understanding of what you expect the business to be able to commit to. So working with an agency, you're committing on a monthly basis, but most likely you have some type of retainer, 6 months, 12 months, and you're kind of planning in those increments.
Right. One thing we haven't talked about, but I know is also a key decision maker is, do you have the internal team to support building out that team? Like, if you're the leader and you don't yet have, the team directly next to you, it's not easy. If you're trying to bring in 5, 6, 7, you need somebody between you, if you're managing a bunch of other functions as well. Yeah. So I think there is also the maturity within your organization, that helps make that decision.
And we've seen within the in-housing process, like I said, we've had some reps in this in our consulting practice. Some of the most critical hires you're going to have are those early project managers that are going to help you navigate your needs and help you allocate the resources with the limited in-house team that you have, right? And figure out how to plug holes with existing agency partnerships, even if they're winding down, with some short-term contractors that may be a temp to perm opportunity, right? To say, okay, is this a role that we're going to hire for long-term? Is this person right for that role? Is it more true freelance support? But I think that those project managers are really unsung heroes of the in-housing process, for sure.
Yeah. Ops and project management.
Yeah.
Never get it.
The spine. Gotta have
it. So the benefits, is there anything else you want to add to the benefits of kind of in-house teams versus staying with a full agency? And, does it sometimes just make sense to bring in a piece of the function?
I think, macro benefits of working with an in-house team are cost efficiencies, transparency, because where every dollar is being spent, and broadly speaking, control, right? Like high control over who's doing the work, control over the standards of how you manage a team, and cultural control, right? Like, you have control over setting the tone of how your team operates. And you're not necessarily working at arm's distance from an agency. Some of the benefits of working with an agency historically have been they offer a great deal of flexibility. Like I said, fractional support, kind of dialing up, dialing down scopes, specialized expertise, and fractional support. And so, I think more and more, like I said, the way that the freelance market is going, you can access those same pros if you have a system in place that really lets you kind of nimbly manage flexible talent. It's not that difficult to create a system for, a brand side system that enables a more flywheel fractional support infrastructure so that you get all of those same benefits, but without the agency overhead and without that kind of arm's distance relationship.
So I know you've also been working on a calculator to help clients decide from a cost and efficiency perspective when it's best to bring some or all of marketing creative talent in-house. What are your intentions for the tool?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously I grew up in the agency space, and I think that there's absolutely a place within the industry for agencies. So it's not necessarily saying the intention of the tool isn't to say, hey, you can save money, fire your agency. It's much more around to show the scale of opportunity. So if you're looking at bringing in, say you have a flexible team of 15 people, and you're looking at, maybe I should be looking at bringing some of these roles closer to the brand side. How much will that save over the course of a month, over the course of a year? And those numbers can meaningfully add up. I think that that's all brand, like I said, all brand side leaders are looking at the bottom line right now. And I know that there's a lot of urgency to provide budget flexibility for themselves, And so I think that that's something that we're trying to help brand side users understand, is how much they stand to save by creating a flexible infrastructure, hopefully using Tamara's tools, that allow them for that long-term flexibility. And And beyond that, we really want to help brands just start to think about the concept of building elastic teams and how they can function within a large scale organization as kind of a piece of the pie. Yeah. I think that that's certainly the intention, is to help brand side leaders understand what they have to gain and think about what you might do with that extra budget. Can you hire a PM to help you manage this process? Add up the numbers, probably. Can you give your existing team some salary bumps to keep them excited and engaged about your brand? Like, especially as churn is such a massive consideration right now, like definitely. Could you use it to hire a higher caliber talent directly because you're not paying the agency overhead on each role? Like, all of these things are opportunities that can help brands have a competitive advantage. And so being able to surface that information in a really easy way, I think, is step one in helping them with their, what we'll call an elastic team journey.
Yeah. I'm excited to have that out there and get some feedback on it. So we're less than a month away from the launch of the actual product. Yeah. What's the priority for the next
week? This week, so we are finishing up our customer persona exercises. It's really interesting because obviously we're working with our first audience of brand side leaders. We have gone into this knowing that the tools that we're building are truly tailor built for brands who want to operate in-house flexible teams. And so this is our first core audience, but I think that we've already seen across social reactions, we've already seen from early customer interviews that there's a lot of excitement and curiosity from agency side folks about what this, freelance team building tool set can do for their business. Because as I said, specialized agencies are flooded with work requests right now from companies who are looking to tap into their expertise or tap into that flexibility. And so as a secondary, exercise, we're looking at how can we answer agency style needs. So all to say, this week we're really focused on customer personas and building out this is marketing function stuff, right? But it's building out email flows, it's building out our lead magnet forms, really helping, the goal is to help potential customers find us in the first place, understand what value we have to offer, and hopefully genuinely help them think about how to use and enable elastic teams to fuel their business and their flexibility long term.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I think always focusing on, how do we reach the people that need us most? I think that's the key, of making sure that, because there is a lot of noise out there right now. And, when you don't have a huge marketing budget, it's just like, you just have to be really crisp. And
we're early days and we've got to kind of see what resonates. I think that we have, we've done a lot of research and we have a strong conviction about what we're building has a lot of value. But how we talk about it, and again, how we find the folks that we know are out there, this is test and learn time.
Yep, definitely. All right. So till next time. Talk soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
Take care.